Alberta on the penultimate night of 2020. Finally, and everything's still up in the air in Group B at the World Juniors. This game will solve part of the puzzle. Oilers prospect, Swedish captain Philip Broberg back in the lineup tonight after missing the last one. Vasily Podkolzin had a great night last night against Austria. The Russian captain, they can win the group with a win tonight. As we say hello, Canada, welcome back to the Bubble in Edmonton. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie on night 6 of the World Juniors. On the line tonight, first place in Group B, and also history. Yes, where were you on New Year's Eve 2006? Yeah, I know this year's been long enough for you to even think back 14 years. But on that night in Vancouver, American Jack Johnson scored in overtime as the U.S. beat Sweden. It is the last time Sweden has lost in group play at this tournament. One of the most remarkable streaks in sports. 14 years, 54 straight wins. That streak on the line tonight. To get you ready for it, Gordon Miller and Ray Ferraro.
In yet another huge game against the Russians at the World Junior Championship, the Swedes turned to a draft-eligible goaltender, Jesper Wallstedt.
A goaltender with great pedigree. Thought of along the same lines of Askarov of Russia was last year. Wallstedt, who leads the Swedish Hockey League in goals against average and save percentage, is a big kid, has had a terrific year, obviously. Reads the rush really well. He's big. He'll come get square to the puck easily. Moves very efficiently in the net. And so while it's a bit of a surprise he's making his first start of the tournament in this game, the fact is the Swedes think he's really good. They're not just letting him dip his toe in the water here. He might take over the net.
Sweden has won the last 2 preliminary round meetings against the Russians, but the Russians have won the last 3 in the medal round. James?
What makes the 54-game streak so impressive? Yes, a lot of games that they were supposed to win, but 3 wins over Canada, 2 over the U.S., and perhaps most impressive, 7 over Finland and 7 over Russia. And Bob, Russia cruised over Austria last night, but lost a key forward along the way. How does that affect them tonight?
Yeah, first bit of adversity for Russia, who've been really healthy through this whole tournament, and coming into it, Igor Chinakhov had a breakaway, went crashing into the boards. Now they got a penalty shot out of the deal and they scored on it, but Chinakhov wasn't able to take that. He crashed hard, looked like the right knee or right ankle really went at an angle that you don't want to see. So he's not in the lineup tonight. He's had 28 goals in 27 games in the KHL. But you know what? The Russians can't complain. The Swedes were decimated with guys that should have been on this team. Carl Henriksson, the New York Rangers second-round pick, would have been their first-round center. He tested positive back in Sweden. There are at least 4 players that tested positive before Sweden even got here, and the Swedes are down, including their head coach and most of their coaching staff.
Gordon Ray mentioned Wallstedt starts for the Swedes tonight. Askarov, the Nashville first-rounder, in goal for Russia. 10 of the last 11 games between these two teams in group play and the playoff round have been decided by a single goal.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Welcome to the final game on day 6 of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Longtime rivals, Russia and Sweden, battling in Group B. The officials are Brett Rowland, referee from Winnipeg, Carter Sandlak of London on the right, Tarrington Wyonzek from Regina, and Adam Harris from Hamilton are the linesmen. Starting in goal for Sweden is the 18-year-old Jesper Wallstedt, a late 2002 birth date, so he's eligible for the upcoming National Hockey League draft. A .920 save percentage in the Swedish Hockey League this year. And for Russia, it is Yaroslav Askarov, has a .909 save percentage. He was pulled last year in the semifinal game against the Swedes, won by Russia in overtime. There's 30-year-old Joel Ronmark, who's taken over as the head coach for Sweden after their head coach Tom Motten failed his COVID test, and 60-year-old Igor Larionov. 14 NHL seasons, a 3-time Stanley Cup winner, Olympic gold medalist, and now the head coach of the Russian national junior team.
Good. All right, boys, let's have some fun here. Hold, whoa. Here we go.
Carter Sandlak with the drop. His dad was the top forward of the '86 World Junior Championship. He was known as House. I think Carter's at least the garage. So there's what looks like in Sweden early in the morning.
Oh, the guy in the second there just getting rolling.
Yeah.
Just getting rolling. That's awesome.
3:30 a.m. in Sweden. They've not seen their team lose a preliminary round game since New Year's Eve 2006. A home ice loss in Leksand to the United States in overtime. Jack Johnson scored the overtime winner for the U.S. in that game. Rodion Amirov gets loose behind the Swedish goal. Sends a bouncing puck. And Amirov back on it. And Wallstedt had to be careful there. Kept alive by Amirov. Winds it back across. Vasily Podkolzin jams away the side of the goal. Puck still loose. They score. Amirov on the rebound. And Russia takes the lead 37 seconds in.
Wallstedt's got his hands up to the sky. He thinks he was interfered with. Igor Larionov goes with his top line to start the game. They had a big night last night. A couple of goals for Podkolzin. And they score as they did last night, driving the puck to the net. And there's Amirov, who scored on a penalty shot last night, cleaning up the garbage. This goal is fine.
It's going to be reviewed. The officials are going to look at it.
Podkolzin gets inside of Philip Broberg, the Edmonton Oilers first rounder. Broberg doesn't lean hard enough on him, and so that gives Podkolzin the lane to the net. Look at this strong drive by Podkolzin. Broberg's behind him out of position, as is Thomas Bjornfot, who doesn't have Rodion Amirov. And as they look at this, Amirov gives Russia a 1-0 lead.
Call on the ice is no goal. Plays under review.
So the call on the ice is no goal.
So that does change the dynamic somewhat. So the referees, Brett Rowland and Carter Sandlak, will have a look.
See, as I view this play, Gord, I don't think the contact is made by Podkolzin. He's allowed to drive to the front of the net where the puck is. He's got the puck. And in my mind, Broberg is standing right on top of him. There's nowhere to go.
Is his stick an issue at all?
We're going to take a peek here. I mean, the more I look at it, you're like, yeah, look, his stick is going to push.
See, it hooks the arm.
It pushes Wallstedt off the goalpost from that top angle. My initial thought is this drive is fine. And Wallstedt gets turned by both his player and Podkolzin, by Broberg and Podkolzin. Now they'll all just sit as the officials stare at the monitor and try to make the call.
First goals have been enormous in this tournament thus far. All the teams here now have access to the so-called Hawkeye system that NHL teams use for taking a look at replays, especially offside replays. We saw one earlier in the Germany-Switzerland game. I'm wondering if the stick on the right arm is an issue.
So here come the officials. Now remember, the call on the ice was no goal.
After reviewing the play, we got call on the ice stands, no goal.
So that call was made in conjunction with the video review judge.
So here's the Podkolzin drive as Carter Sandlak's over talking to Igor Larionov right now. Gord, you're right. It's that stick that wedges Wallstedt off the goalpost. So everybody's getting a little clarity on on the call and the review. Not a Russian review, obviously, or there would be a penalty for that, for the failed challenge. So basically we had a pretty interesting 40 seconds and it's still 0-0.
Nothing happened.
Strong move by Podkolzin, who really jumped up last night, played his best game of the tournament, certainly his most productive. And the captain of the Russian team didn't take long to get involved today.
Hear James Duthie talk about it. 11 straight one-goal games between these two countries in the World Junior Championship. 7 have gone to overtime. Victor Soderstrom, the Arizona first-round pick, slides that back to center ice. Safonov up ahead to Bashkirov. Yazev plays it back down to the Swedish zone, and icing is called, and you've heard a lot about it. The beat goes on for Sweden. 54 consecutive wins in the preliminary round. In that streak, however, 1 gold, 5 silver, 2 bronze. They've lost in the semifinals 6 times during the streak.
Just amazing, and you see it year after year, and you say, wow, this is a good Swedish team again. I think they can go far, and it's the same script year after year after year for them.
And of course, you know, it's a different cast of characters every year, and yet they're asked about it constantly. As soon as the medal round begins, you know these players who, when the streak began, were 3 and 4 years old, are suddenly responsible for why it hasn't panned out for them. The 1 gold medal in Alberta in 2012. They won the gold medal game against Russia in overtime on the Mika Zibanejad golden goal. And that game was scoreless forever.
And they had so completely dominated that game. And it's 0-0, and it's 0-0, longer and longer and longer. Yet it was Zibanejad that was able to score in overtime.
Now the Russians bring it back, a pass across to Groshev. Groshev, a sharp angle shot that was blocked in front by Soderstrom. Back at the point, Bichkov works in, shoots a long drive that deflects high. That was around the glass. Kuznetsov steps up, and the puck played out by Theodor Niederbach. Up ahead for Branson. Soderblom rather. Almost Soderblom comes driving in. The hulking Swedish forward. Soderblom 6'7", 227 pounds. Looks like he was photoshopped into the game.
He wasn't very happy as he took a high stick driving to the net. He really was good in there last game. Creates some chances. He's got legs and feet that are getting better, quicker to go with that mammoth frame.
Andre plays around, that's picked off for a moment. Amirov, his top line goes back to work for Russia. And the lead pass finds Leon Nibak. Nibak bounces up wide of Askarov, it comes out the other side. And Safonov backs at it. Vikström plays it back in for Sweden. Nibak tried to center it, bounced off the side of the goal. Yazev lost the puck to Nibak. Picked up by Berselius. Oscar Berselius winds it down. Sundsbeck in behind the goal to Holtz. Alexander Holtz feeds it back, and a hard drive there taken by Broberg. And Philip Broberg swings it back and bronze to Lucas Raymond. Raymond, the 4th overall pick to Detroit in the 2020 NHL draft, was a star in this building in the 2018 Holinka Gretzky Cup. Bashkirov works in, gets loose, taking the shot away, just rolled off his stick.
What a nice move by Bashkirov, full flight. Slides the puck through the stick and the feet of the defenseman and almost gets to the net.
Bashkirov trying to pull it free at the line, it gets by Mohamedulin. And back down to the Russian zone. Zhakov goes back for it. Icing call, by the way, for Russia. Igor Chinahov, by the way, is not playing today after being injured in Russia's win over Austria.
Here's that move by Bashkirov as he gets around Janssen. Really nice play coming back by Holtz. Here's Holtz going to find Broberg. Askarov can't catch it, but he's able to make the save, and this is a high stick. Bang, right in the mouth. And when you're 6'7", that's a high stick.
That's a capital H high stick. Mohamedullah plays it back around. We missed it earlier. Germany beat Switzerland 5-4. Germany's going to the quarterfinals for the first time ever at the World Junior Championship. What a moment that was.
Boy, I'm not so sure that that's the way you defend a 4-0 lead.
True. It got a bit wobbly there at the end.
But congratulations to a team that went through just a difficult road.
Now backhand shot, a great chance there for Afanasiev. And the save made by Volstead.
I've been impressed with Afanasiev through this tournament. The second rounder by Nashville in 2019's got really good size. 6'3", about 205 or so pounds. He had a goal and a couple assists in their game against Austria. You see him run to the front of the net and then get around the traffic in front. And look at Volstead coming across, patient, calm, square to the puck. And
probably a conversation in English there, because Afanasiev came over at the age of 16 to the United States. A couple years of minor hockey in Detroit, then 2 years Muskegon in the United States Hockey League. And I'm sure there were lots of interesting English words used in that exchange.
Of course.
Noel Goodler moves that ahead for Simon Holmstrom. Now Goodler. Back across, a centering pass there from Kosmar. Bounces off Askarov back in the corner. Goodler chips it back across to Kosmar. Along the boards, Groshev lost that battle to Holmstrom. Now Groshev gets it back. And Bichkov brings it out now for Russia. Centering pass was knocked down by Goodler. Bardakov comes in. Centering pass, Groshev, a quick drive.
Good stop, blocker stop by Volstead. After the goal was disallowed, maybe a chance for him to take a deep breath. He's made a couple of nice stops.
But Colson brings it back. Kirsanov shoots at a sharp angle, that goes high. Amirov spins it back in the corner. To Bud Colson, drops it back. Kirsanov feeds that to the goal mouth. It's kicked away by Volstead. Kostadinov to Amirov, to Podkolzin. Vasily Podkolzin feeds it back. Knyazov, long shot, that's knocked away. Now he's at the side of the goal. Podkolzin centers and Amirov couldn't reach it. And it swept down the ice. The long reach of Soderblom came in handy there. Knyazov dances away from him. Moves it across the line. A long wrist shot, ramps off a stick high. Bashkirov loose in the corner with it. Broberg steps into him. Russia, by the way, is the home team in this game. Look out. Stepping on the stick there was Vikstrom. And they created a turnover. So Russia has the last change in this game, but Larianov thus far has not shown much inclination to match lines.
I'm sure he likes his start here. The Russian team has been a little quicker. They've been on the puck here. 8 shots already here in the first 7 minutes. The Russians only gave up 6 against Austria in their last game.
Bjorn Fott throws that in for Sweden. And Hamidulin back with it. Hamidulin plays it across to Chistyakov. Lead pass, a race for it. Gritsev was there, but that's knocked away from him by Soderstrom. Scooped up, Gritsev, considering pass, score! Tapped home by Afanasiev, and Russia's grabbed a 1-0 lead.
Sweden has possession of the puck, but the 2 defensemen get tight together. They don't spread out, so there's no D-to-D pass available. And this is a sweet feed back through the defenseman Soderstrom's legs, and there's Afanasiev just talking about him a moment ago. Goes to the goal crease and jams this from the blue paint behind Volstead. The Swedish mix-up on the blue line creates a chance. and Russia doesn't make any mistake. They've dominated the first 7.5 minutes, and full marks for a 1-0 lead.
Afanasyev had a great year with Windsor of the Ontario League last year, scored 31 goals in 62 games. Now fired down in the Russian zone. That'll be icing against the Swedes. Not accustomed to playing from behind is Sweden, which opened with a 7-1 win over the Czechs and a 4-0 win over Austria.
Well, there's the play where the Swedish defensemen get a little tied up. No communication between Victor Soderstrom and Albert Johansson, and that keeps the play alive. And what should have been a relatively straightforward D-to-D and out turns into a Abramov making a really nice play. Gritchik involved in the play as well, and Afanasyev jams it into the net, and Russia's got the lead.
Kursanov swings back for it. Both teams will change here with 12 remaining in the opening period. Sweden will close out against the United States tomorrow. This is Russia's last preliminary round game. Holmstrom. Up ahead for Kosmar. That pass missed him. Once again, icing called against the Swedes. Afanasyev this year plays for CSKA Moscow in the KHL.
Once he keeps the puck alive, Afanasyev gets to the net. I like how he adjusts his path. Instead of just going across the front of the net, he realizes there is going to be a play available, and Gritchik throws it right through the crease where Afanasyev has turned, gone to the post, stick on the ice, and you got one.
Off the draw, Bjornfoot. Up for Broberg, the Swedish captain. He fires it down to the Swedes and call for icing again. It's been a disjointed start for the Swedes.
Yeah, they have not been very sharp. The puck hasn't moved stick to stick very often. That's got to be 4 icings for them already here, and certainly back on their heels. Down the 1-0, and with the disallowed goal against, it must feel like this has gone all wrong for them in the first 8.5 minutes.
You never want to lose a game, Ray. Of course not. I think it might be better for Sweden to lose one in the prelims.
Well, it's not helped them the other way.
Well, just get that out of the way. Just, you know what I mean? That whole thing that goes with that streak. Here's Mahamadou, a long shot. That drifts wide. But Colson was tied up in front. That kind of continues. The Mirov shoots. Yeah, but Colson's really hot. Mahamadou goes it back behind him. Well, here's Broberg with it.
He should be, as Kosmer's basically grabbed onto him and just not letting him move in the offensive zone.
Niederbach. Up ahead, and a long shot by Soderblom, knocked away by Askarov. Abramov can't clear it out. Soderstrom a long shot. Askarov steers that away easily. Now picked up by Heinemann. Heinemann loose in the corner with it. Crisscrossing with Soderblom. Soderblom, a centering pass goes back at the point. A long shot was blocked there from Johansson. Puck loose in front for a moment. Afanasyev chips it back to center ice. Puck loose at the line, and in that scramble, the Swedes are offside. Igor Afanasyev has broken the ice here. 1-0, Russia leads.
Here's that last play with Kosmer and Podkolzin. They're in the corner. 2 Vancouver Canucks draft picks. Kosmer decides to say hello, and then he tackles him. Now Podkolzin's really hot. Except Kosmer's still holding him, so Podkolzin gives him a smack on the backside. Pretty heated, as Podkolzin's just looking for a little room. You see the athletic therapist come over and ask if he's all right as he got thrown down pretty good.
Maybe not the kind of therapist he needed at that moment. Need to calm down a little bit. And Yazev plays it around. And Groshev taken down by Holtz. A penalty coming to Sweden, so the Russians up 1. We'll go to the power play midway through this first period.
Number 10, Sweden minor penalty hooking.
Sweden just hasn't gotten any legs going at all. Here is that first couple of seconds after a turnover. We see it so often. You reach back into the play. You want to fix what's just happened, and Holtz not moving his feet, reaches out with his stick. makes the trip. And here's the Russian power play going to work, just 1 for 7 in the tournament.
So Sanov moves in and shoots. Volstead makes the stop. Kniazev scored the power play goal against Austria in that 7-1 win. Faceoff comes outside now. Shots are 9-4 in favor of Russia. Last year's semifinal meeting was another classic between these two. Back and forth they went. 5-4 Russian overtime win to send them to the gold medal game against Canada.
It's a big kill, obviously, for Sweden. They have not really been in the game much here. They've been half a step behind, chase the play in their end of the ice most of the time, and now they're shorthanded.
Puck Colson. Moves it across the line. Puck Colson gets a step on Branston. Walks in a backhand shot. Volstead makes the stop on the dash by Vasily Podkolzin.
One time off the right wing, this time off the left wing as Podkolzin gets the puck at center ice and kind of finds some room outside the defense. He gets around Brandstrom and then drives straight to the front of the net. The Swedes a little soft there as once the drive wide is committed by Podkolzin, Andre has to come across to the middle of the net. You can't give him that much room in front, but Podkolzin sees that room and then drives himself right to the far post. That's a good save again for Volstead. He's had an excellent start.
Chichikov drops it back to Gritsuk. Rink wide he goes to Mohamedulin. Here's Gritsuk getting it set up for the Russians. Safonov to Gritsuk. That pass was tied up, and it gets by Chichikov and back down the ice. It was fired down by Ludwig Hedstrom. Now a steal on Skarov's puck handling. That's picked up by Heinen Heinemann.
We've seen that a little bit in the tournament. Very aggressive out in playing the puck. Sometimes not very efficiently.
Abramov works in a centering pass. A quick shot for Safonov. Stopped by Volstead. Chichikov. Back for Mohamedulin. Mohamedulin. Rink wide pass, and they drum it back. Chichikov plays it across. And a hard shot by Abramov. They didn't play the first couple of games for Russia. Drew into the lineup in the win over Austria. Now offside is called at the Swedish line. And after Podkolzin was stopped by Volstead, little exchange here.
He goes back to give him a little tap. Been through the crease twice already. Once was a disallowed goal. That one that Volstead made the save on. I've really liked Podkolzin the last couple of nights. It's, you know, it's his third year in this tournament. He should be making a difference, and he's really been Russia's key player.
Kniazev. Rink wide pass, and that's offside at the Swedish line. 2 shots in the Russian power play. Remains a 1-0 lead over Sweden. Time now for Gear Up with Skip the Dishes. Well, the Russian dressing room is the furthest from the practice rink of all 10. So the number 1 and 2 goaltenders get pushed on a trolley back to their dressing room. What does the third goalie do? Yeah, he walks.
Pretty decent way to get to practice.
Skip the Dishes, the official food delivery app of Hockey Canada. There's the third guy.
Hey, what about me, fellas?
Sorry.
Bus is only so big.
Chichikov plays it across. Shots 11-4 in favor of Russia. Russians had a goal disallowed in the first minute of the game. Ponomaryov stripped of the puck. And Niebeck plays it back across. Long shot on goal. Askarov makes the stop there on Johansson. At the line, Kvist. Across Johansson.
That might have been a clean break if that puck's intercepted.
Niebeck digging forward along the boards. He's taken down. Niebeck. He's there for Kvist. Back at the point for Soderstrom. A long wrist shot, hit a leg in front. Brought back by Ponomaryov. Up to Bartikov, to Ponomaryov. He fans on the shot, gets it back. Now a centering pass. Finds Grosjev. Back at the point, Mohamedulin. But pulls it off the bench, is lurking. Leaves the puck along the boards for Chichikov. Across to Mohamedulin. That's poked away. And a quick stick there by Niebeck. Centering pass by Amirov. This Hustadinov now pulls it loose at the side of the goal. The puck still loose. Ball's dead down. It's swinging away from him. Hustadinov spins it back down. And now scooped up by Heineman. Rings wide he goes for Niederbach. Niederbach shoots. Askarov makes the stop with Heineman flying through the crease.
The Swedes are lucky that this game is 1-0 at this point. They've got to start spending a little bit of time, even if they don't generate much, but a little bit of time in the Russian end of the ice, kind of pull the air out of it a little bit. Russia's a very quick hockey team right now. They're playing quickly, they move the puck quickly, they're on it. Really impressive start for them.
It's been a topsy-turvy run up to the World Junior for the Swedish team. We mentioned Thomas Monton, the head coach, was not able to come over. At one point before the tournament, the team doctor had to run a practice because their staff had essentially been suspended. Their team leader was sent home. He left the bubble to go retrieve some luggage that had been delayed. You can't leave the bubble and go back in without permission. Did his quarantine in the room?
I mean, it's hard not to tell you're in a bubble. I mean, that fence around the hotel is a...
And the security people. And,
yeah, I mean, that would be your first indication.
And the tracking device on our passes is also... Yazov. Feeds that in, goes off the stick, up and out of play.
Gord, you've mentioned how many times these teams have played and how often the games are so tight, and they just don't ever look like they spread out. The games just, they kind of are glued to each other. Both teams will skate well, although the Russians have been better. There's Larionov, a pretty hands-on coach. Wants to make sure everybody is understanding of what they need or what the coaches need from them, and a very instructional coach. I kind of liked watching him work behind the bench. Of course, he flies right on top of it so he can see over all the guys.
What surprises you more? That Sweden has one gold medal in the last 40 years, and the Russians have won the last 17.
I'm going to go 1 in 40. That's a long time.
There it is. Back in front, rebound, score! Arvid Kosmar, and Sweden's right back even with 5.5 to go in the period.
That's Arvid Kosmar's second goal of the tournament. The Vancouver 7th rounder in 2019. He gets left all alone. Watch it, 14 in yellow. Mohamedulin is with him behind the net, and Mohamedulin gets kind of skating around, but number 7, Bischoff, is his defense partner. When you can throw a blanket over top of the two defensemen, you got real problems. Askarov is pointing to the front of the net. He knows Kosmar's open, but Kosmar's able to swat this through the legs, and Kosmar makes it 1-1.
Playing for Linköping in the Swedish Hockey League. He's got just one goal there. He's also played a little bit in the Swedish Junior League. And Ray, Sweden, like so many of the countries involved here, had so many players come back on loan from North America. It bumped a lot of young players down the ladder on their depth chart.
We've seen a lot of players that have played for 3 teams this year.
Hooking penalty coming up to Russia. Sweden with a power play in a 1-1 game.
Arvid Kosmar scored to tie the game at 1. Groshev takes a hooking penalty behind the net, and Sweden will go to the power play. This puck just shoveled to the front of the net by Gunler, and the Swedes, really the first good thing that's happened to them in this game. They're lucky, but it's 1-1.
Theodor Niederbach won the face-off. Here's Lucas Raymond with it. Swedes have 5 power play goals. Gunler has 2 of them. Raymond drops it back to Soderstrom. His long wrist shot goes wide, and Gunler's 3 goals in the tournament have all gone the exact same place. Raymond Soderstrom. Holtz shoots. That's called by Askarov.
It's a good save for Askarov. He's got to look around this condominium in front of him. Elmer Soderblom is 6'7". He parks right on top of the crease, and Askarov has to find the puck and keep himself patient enough to make the save. Askarov 6'4". He's dwarfed in front of the net, and that's a pretty good save for him. He's going to see a lot of the backside of Soderblom.
Face-off won by the Russians. Beachkov to the line. That's held by Raymond.
Watch the Raymond through the seam pass to Holtz or vice versa. 10 and 18. They'd love to slide this puck through.
Soderstrom drops it back to Holtz. Soderstrom, long wrist shot, and again through the screen. Askarov makes the stop.
Pretty good stuff here for Yaroslav Askarov, who has really not had a great tournament. He's had some goals go through him. He's been a little jittery at times. And here, this is a double stack as Niederbach is in front of Soderblom, and he finds it all the way through.
Kosmar wins the draw, but all the way back down to the Swedish zone. And Ray, you could fairly say that as part of their gold medal issues for Sweden and Russia, they've been out goaltending a lot.
A lot of them. And in times when you thought they were okay in that position. Well, that's a good play.
Chichikov moves Sundsvik off the puck. Kosmar back down to Sundsvik. Chichikov plays it down. And back goes Broberg to pick it up. 40 seconds to go in this Swedish power play. Philip Broberg. He's stripping the puck as Bardakov got in there. And we've seen this since the opening game of the tournament, even before that, Ray, how aggressive the Russians are on the penalty kill.
Far different than some of the ways teams penalty kill. Like they're right up. Look at that. Right up. Close off 10 feet inside the blue line, and that puck's down the ice. That was a really sharp play by Kniazev.
Soderstrom gains the blue line, bounces that down to Askarov. They'll hang on to that as the Khrushchev penalty does in, and he steps out.
1-1. Each team has missed a power play chance. Take a look at this Gunler pass or shot, or I'm not sure what. It goes right through Muhammadulin's feet, and then Kosmar pokes it right through Askarov's feet.
That's quite the pass.
That's, yeah.
Do that again.
I'm almost certain that was not the intended flight line of that puck.
Played down by Johansson. Niederbach reaching for it. Theodor Niederbach's had a good tournament for Sweden. Holtz back with it. And it rolls off his stick. .2:45 to go here in the first period. Holtz across to Raymond. They, along with Carl Henriksson, were a dynamic forward line for the Swedes at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup here in 2018. Henriksson was not available to the Swedes for this tournament. Paul Colson's taken down by Johansson. That'll be a penalty. Interference will be the call against Johansson, who's shaken up. And Russia gets a late power play here.
Johansson going straight to the bench here.
What if a skate caught him?
That's my first thought, Gord, is Podkolzin got knocked over at the blue line.
Sweden number 9, 2 minutes interference.
We'll get a look at this as Raymond's back pressuring. Oh, you know what? Watch Podkolzin's foot. It's going to go through Jansson's legs. And I'm not so sure about that play by Podkolzin. That's a sneaky, dirty play. He ends up pulling Johansson down.
So the Swedes are...
he's still in...
Yeah, Gunler's going to serve the penalty for him.
He's still hurt here. But Colson is so strong. Man, he's like a bull. And he got into the feet of Johansson and just pulled him down as he was headed to the ice.
Chichikov with a bouncing puck, couldn't hold the line. Kosmar pokes it ahead. And Muhammadulin back to pick it up. The Russians had 2 shots on their first power play. They're 1 for 8 in the tournament so far. Safonov Stops it back for Chichikov. Gritsa. Drops it off. Mohamedullah to Abramov. Drop pass and Chichikov with a shot at Volstead makes the stop.
Really nice puck work by Russia to get that puck worked around for the one-timer.
Abramov, a centering pass. That was blocked by Bjornfoot, who's playing in his second World Junior for the Swedes. They've got 6 back from last year's team. Finished third, beat Finland in the bronze medal game. 2 medals the last 6 years for Sweden, the silver and the bronze. Russia has the longest medal streak active in the tournament. 2 straight years. Amirov chips it ahead. Kursanov moves in. That's stripped away from him, and the clearing attempt by Andre was knocked down at the line by Kenyaza. Now turned over. Kuzmadinov feeds it across, and the man who turned it over saved it, Alex Branston.
Oh, Podkolzin was open. That was going to be a one-timer and a desperation defensive play for the Swedes.
Banks it off the end boards. Kuzmadinov waiting for it. Kuzmadinov centers it. Podkolzin backdoor pass. They score! Amirov from Podkolzin, a power play goal. Russia's back on top.
And this one will count. These two had hooked up early in the game. 40 seconds in. Waved off with a goaltender interference penalty. And on the power play, after a couple of near misses, Podkolzin's going to make a slick play by the goal line and head up as soon as he turns. Nice play by Kuzmadinov to Podkolzin. Look at his head up the whole time. And Amirov's shot is almost stopped by Volstead, and he's helping the goaltender, or helping the officials out, as his goal will count. Back-to-back games with a goal, and the Russians, on their second power play goal of the tournament, lead 2-1.
Amirov scored 3 goals in 3 games for Russia at the Karjala Cup, which is a men's club team tournament held in Finland every year. And Igor Larionov lobbied for the Russian junior team to be admitted to it. They went 3-0 and won the tournament. And Askarov was terrific in that tournament in goal for Russia. As Ponomaryov comes in. Ponomaryov bumped hard there by Bjornfoot. Kosmar, rink wide pass. Bardakov was brought down. Broberg comes in. Broberg tries to center it. And Kuznetsov lifts that to center ice. Broberg spilled at center ice by Bardakov. And time winds down here in the period. And an eventful one comes to a conclusion with Russia holding a 2-1 lead after the opening 20 minutes. Afanasyev and Amirov score for Russia. Kosmar for Sweden. You're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton. Our first intermission with James Duthie and Bob McKenzie is coming in.
Character, integrity, respect. If we bring good sportsmanship on and off the ice, we can help end bullying.
The college football playoff semifinals come your way New Year's Day as number 4 Notre Dame takes on number 1 ranked Alabama, followed by a clash between number 3 Ohio State and the best team in the nation and the eventual national champions, the number 2 Clemson Tigers. Impressive 20 minutes for the Russians. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie back with your first intermission. 2-1. Could have easily been 3-1. Let's do this chronologically. First of all, did you agree with the disallowed goal?
Totally agreed. As soon as it happened, the first thing I noticed was that the stick of the advancing Russian forward went directly into the pad of Volstead and pushed him right into the net. And there was nothing he could do to stop that puck afterwards. So, yeah, I thought for sure that they'd review that, and that would be that. But the Russians are driving the net extremely hard on Volstead, and there's the stick, pushes the pad inside the net, and there was no chance, and it wasn't as if he was pushed in. Now this is later. Podkolzin, you've heard of Trey Kroner? Well, how about Fira Kroner? That would be 4 crowns. That Podkolzin is the 4th crown on the Swedish jersey, and they are all over Volstead, lots of heavy traffic, and trying to push him back into the net.
This is hardly new with Russian hockey, but it still amazes me how quickly they can look make a play that doesn't look dangerous. Boom, 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 3 passes and it's in the back of the net like that late goal.
Well, this is what happens when you've got tremendous first-round talent and elite players. So you've got Kuznetsov, a Minnesota pick, who does a tremendous job of protecting the puck, deception, and then getting it down low to Pud Colson, the Vancouver first-rounder, over to Rodion Amirov, the Toronto Maple Leaf first-rounder. Just a terrific play by Kuznetsov, second-round pick of the Wild, to those 2 first-round picks. And I love Amirov here. He puts it in, and then he gives it he's going to steal Austin Matthews' thunder in Toronto. If I remember correctly, Austin Matthews might have done that in a game.
Maybe that was a tribute.
Absolutely. But the Russians dominated early. The Swedes bounced back, got the tie, and then the Russians started to impose their will again. But Russia is closing and winning the battles a lot more than the Swedes at this point.
Yegor Afanasiev with the first goal, and he is with our Ryan Rashad.
Well, Yegor, lots of offense from your team in that first period. What do you think you did well to generate so much?
Definitely having like a possession, you know, with the puck in the offensive zone. I think that have been the key for us, and like getting bodies to the net.
Sweden is known to have some pretty good defensemen, some mobile players. What's the best strategy against those mobile defensemen for you?
Just play closer to them, you know, forecheck hard, and just like play like this period.
Feel like your coach will be happy with that opening period?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, good. Thanks, Yegor.
Thank you.
Man, few words, but much talent. Russia up by a goal. Canada was up by plenty of goals against Switzerland. Quinton Byfield, 6 points. We'll hear from him, and Bob will get you ready for Canada-Finland next.
Jerome McGinley supports the Hockey Canada Foundation Assist Fund because he knows that when we help kids get on the ice, there's no limit to the power of play. Give an assist. Donate now.
We have been waiting for this one, well, since the tournament started, really since the schedule came out, because we all figured it would come down to this, and it has. Finland versus Canada to decide top spot in Group A. Quinton Byfield coming off that brilliant 6-point performance against Switzerland, and he's with our Mark Masters.
Quinton, a heck of a performance by you last night. How are you feeling coming into that game? Like walking into the building, what were you feeling last night?
Yeah, you know, I think I kind of just took it like every other game, and you know, I knew I was playing, you know, the way that the coaches wanted me to play, and just kind of using my body, playing the structure, doing the right things, and you know, I think I just got the bounces, and my line really just started connecting yesterday.
All right, so you're feeling good. You're building your big night. Let's go to your goal here.
Yeah, you know, I think it was a good keep-in by Quinter originally there. Then, you know, kind of just moved the puck around up top, and I think it was a really good shot by Dries. He noticed that I was kind of alone in front of the net and not too many guys around me, and you know, he just put a perfect shot there, and I was lucky enough to get my stick on it. Your first World Juniors goal, it was kind of not an over-the-top celebration. I know you guys had the game well in hand, but what were you thinking in that moment? Because obviously a big one. Yeah, I think I was a little shocked almost. You know, haven't scored in a while, so I think that was my first goal since like February. So you know, I was still super excited, but you know, you gotta respect your opponent and respect the score. So you know, just kind of keep it as humble as I could there. What was the buzz on the bench after your goal? Yeah, I think you know, the boys are pretty excited for me, and you know, I love the support there. And I think always when me and Connor McMichael score, we always give a smile to each other. And I think he said something there about the monkey, and you know, I just kind of threw it off the back finally. What do you think you're going to remember most about last night? I'm not too sure. Probably just my first goal there, the tip. But you know, it was just an all-around special night, and getting to share that with you know, my teammates and you know, a lot of close buddies on that team was definitely something special I'll remember.
Was very nice to see for him, because you know, it was weighing him down, the fact that he hadn't really done a ton production-wise at the World Juniors until that game. We had to sit through a lot of lopsided games for the last few days. Thank you for your patience. We're patient. Now we're getting rewarded with games like tonight and with Canada and Finland. Fair to say that the rest was almost a warm-up. No disrespect to the other teams, but reality.
Yeah, tournament starts now, and not only for Canada, for Finland as well. The way the group was structured, I mean, it's going to be a severe test for Canada and Finland facing each other on New Year's Eve. And as Andre Tourigny, the head coach for Canada, would say, this team has to be ready to defend, because they're going to start facing a Finnish team that has a lot of offensive weapons, that plays a strong down-low possession game, a lot of bodies crashing the front of the net. And Anton Lundell, the Florida Panther first-round pick, has been lights out good in this tournament. He's been lights out good all season long in the Liga, the top Finnish league, playing against men, putting up big offensive numbers in that league, and he's continued that here at the World Junior Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if they go power on power. Connor McMichael's first line with the two Dillons, Cousins and Holloway, might be an option in terms of who to match up head-to-head with Lundell's line. And, of course, Drysdale and Byram, the two gifted skating defensemen, would be logical choices to be on the ice when Lundell is out there. So I'm looking forward to this one. Should be good.
Canada has had to change its lines or deep pairings for various reasons. Before every single game, they had the suspension, one injury, and just a lack of chemistry. Is this the most intact we're going to see this lineup in the tournament from game to game?
Yeah, they're going to start this game against Finland the way they finished the last game against Switzerland, which is to suggest that there was a change from what the beginning of the Swiss game was, and that change is Jamie Drysdale moving on to the second power play unit, replacing Thomas Harley on the point. And Drysdale made an immediate contribution when he got out there. He gets pucks to the net. That shot that he took, Byfield got the deflection on that one. So that's the biggest, really the biggest change. Connor Zary starts as the 13th forward of the next game, but that was the same as last game, and he got considerable time playing with Byfield and Pelche, as did Jack Quinn, so it should be an interesting one.
Russia, Sweden, the U.S., they're gold medal contenders every year, but Finland and Canada have been the two dominant players at this tournament. The last 7 years, they've won 6 of 7 gold medals. Russia by 1, second just ahead.
It was an eventful first period. 3 goals, 1 called off. Afanasiev scores to make it 1-0. Kostmar ties it up from the power play. Radan Amirov makes it a 2-1 Russian lead. The shots were 14-10 in favor of the Russians. When things were happening in that first period, Vasily Podkolzin was all around it.
The Russian captain was terrific. For the last 4 periods, he's been an absolute beast. Firstly, he gets the puck and he'll drive it to the net. He'll be strong, but when he gets near the net, he seems to be too strong and too determined for the Swedish defenseman to keep away from the net. Secondly, he's got really good skill. When the puck comes to him, his head is always up, and he makes good plays with it. He's a battler, too. Here he is with Kostmar, another Vancouver Canucks draft pick, wrestling around. And this play he makes on the goal, head up immediately, pass right on the tape to Amirov. And Vasily Podkolzin, the third World Junior Tournament. He's the captain for a reason. He's leading by example. And the Russians, in my mind, dominated most of that period. A lot of it on the back of number 19.
And the puck chipped in for Podkolzin. Here he comes again. Podkolzin heels back in the corner, drops it back at the point. Mohamedoulin's shot was blocked by Holtz. Chipped ahead to Raymond. One-on-one with Chichikov. Lucas Raymond streaking in. Throws it back in front of Mirov. Took that away. Raymond's got to shoot that puck. He's down the wall. He's got a terrific shot. Release it. I mean, the behind-the-back hope play's not going to get it done. Now back the other way is Podkolzin. A shot. Halstead makes the stop and hangs on. Somebody on the Swedish defense is going to have to put a shoulder into Podkolzin. He's just, with no fear, driving towards the net every time. You've got to back him up a little bit. He's such a powerful skater. Watch him get outside of Broberg here, and he drives right to the net. Broberg has to get his shoulder as low as Podkolzin. You have to deny him or make him think you're going to deny him the net, or he's going to drive in there all night. Another good stop by Wallstedt. The starter in this game, his first appearance in this World Junior Championship. Wallstedt was terrific for the Swedes at the IHF Under-18 Championship in 2019 at a .936 save percentage. Lucas Raymond scored a hat-trick in the gold medal game against the Russians, including the overtime winner. And now a jam play at the side of the goal. And that time Gudler is turned away. Askarov, by the way, was in goal for Russia in that gold medal game. And good morning, Russia. It's in the early hours of the morning there as Russian fans look on. Last year's gold medal game between Canada and Russia was watched by an estimated 36 million people in Russia. It was the highest rated sporting event on television in that country in 2020. I mean, in the 10 years I've done it, the times we've been over there, the response to the games, to the tournament and the venues has been remarkable. Like, far greater than I thought it was going to be, and every year we go, it's more and more. It's really easy to see
the enthusiasm for the tournament wherever we go. Now, in 2 years, we're going to an ice box.
We're going to Novosibirsk the year after next.
What was the temperature the other day?
Dash 43, I think I saw. Yeah. The capital of Siberia.
They say it's a dry cold.
You are going to be, Kniazev moves it ahead. Johansson.
You just had a vision of a couple of years from now, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Chichikov back for it. Lipson with it. We had a good time in Ufa a couple of years ago at the World Junior 2013. And the year after that, the tournament will be in Sweden, in Gothenburg.
I was just in Gothenburg, well, I guess a year and a half ago for a huge soccer tournament, the Gothia Cup. And really cool city, liked it a lot.
The hosting schedule's been bumped down 1 year for everyone, so Edmonton gets it back next year. Hopefully with fans. And Russia, and Sweden, and Canada in 2025, and the United States in 2026. It's actually awarded up to 2033. Bransdam goes back to pick it up. Long lead pass for Raymond. Rink wide he goes. Sundsvik in, shoots, and Askarov makes the glove save. And after the play, Holtz was knocked down.
Holtz and Raymond haven't been much of a factor at all so far tonight. The two offensive players, leaders for the Swedes, as Holtz takes a pretty good stick from Kuznetsov there. Kuznetsov gets away with one, or did he?
The penalty box door is open.
And the two officials now are going to have a little chat. Well, it looks like the play, there is no penalty on the play.
Yeah, Kuznetsov is number 2. That's not so sneaky dirty.
It became sneaky because he got away with it again. That makes it sneaky. But that's a penalty.
Back at center ice. Bichkov drops it back. And Amirov's pass back just missed the Russian net. Bichkov back with it. Bichkov had 3 assists in the game against Austria. Back at the line, kept alive by Broberg. Now picked off and slid up by Amirov. Husnudinov comes streaking in. Now Husnudinov for Spiridonov, the only right-handed shot among the skaters for this Russian team. Theoretically, Askarov, a right-handed catcher, would also be a right-hand shot. And icing called against Sweden.
For 4 years, teams have done amazing things to raise the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. But this year, ideas triumph. What would you do with $100,000 for your community?
Captain Philip Broberg of the Swedes didn't play in the last game. Back in the lineup with his partner Thomas Bjornfoot of the Los Angeles Kings. And these two need to make an impact. They're good enough players. They're actually excellent players who've had a really quiet start to this game.
Skirov drops it back. That's hammered wide by Spiridonov. Spiridonov trying to dig that free. Puts it across. Safonov fanned on it. Now he and Soderblom collide. Soderblom and Safonov, 2 of the bigger players in the tournament. And Safonov picks it free. Walks out. Slides it back. Kniazev shoots off the outside of the post. Kniazev just missed there. He's the oldest player in the tournament, turns 20 on January the 4th. Broberg back for it. Ahead to Holmstrom, it gets by Soderblom, back down the Russian zone. Askarov on the play up, and Soderblom knocked that down. I get the sense if you were coaching the Russian team, you'd like Askarov to play the puck a little less.
A little less. If you're coaching the Russians, you mean, just pitch it in the corner to your defenseman.
Soderblom gets free. Spins and shoots. Askarov makes the stop. Tapped back in by Berselius. An injured Russian player in the corner is Chistyakov. He was down. He's bleeding.
I think he got hit on a stick on the shot. I believe it's Soderblom that is going to turn and spin to shoot the puck.
Now, there's a difference in the IHF rules than the NHL rules. In the NHL, if the follow-through of a shot or pass hits you in the mouth, it's not considered high sticking. The IHF has no such rule. Now, the fact that he's on his knees.
I mean, this I can't even. I mean, they're going to talk about it, as they should, but as you mentioned, Gord, as he's on his knees, it's not a high stick. Here's the deflection by Spiridonov off the goal post, that close to Russia taking a 3-1 lead.
So Chistyakov goes to the Russian room.
Gordon, I'm just going to take a second here and wish my son Riley a happy 14th birthday.
Yeah.
Missing birthday at home, and happy birthday, Riley. I hope you're having a good day.
Not the same without you, pal.
Yeah, they've been to quite a few tournaments. Him and Reese and Cammie have really loved the tournament. Very disappointed, like so many, to not be able to come this year.
Well, we'll see you next year, pal, at this tournament. The Ferraro boys playing mini sticks in the hallway.
Well, there's been some hallways that have come out worse for wear, I will say. And you know, I was telling you in the break here, you know, as we're watching these fantastic junior players play, I got an email chain today from my old teammates with the Penticton Knights in 1981-82. Everybody wishing each other a happy holidays and all the best in the new year. I hope everybody's doing well, guys. It's awesome to hear from you.
40 years ago.
That is hard to believe.
Soderstrom a long shot. Askarov fought that off through the traffic. Raymond back with it. Drops for Holtz, who's back out there now for Sweden. Alexander Holtz jumps in, gets a shot away. Askarov makes the glove save.
That's a really good sign for the Swedes. As Holtz was injured on the play previous, I mentioned that Lucas Raymond and Holtz really hadn't made any impact in the offensive zone. They're the leaders of this club here. And there's Holtz dancing through the middle of the ice, the 7th overall pick last draft of the New Jersey Devils. He can really shoot it. And Askarov, who has been sharp tonight, makes the glove stop.
Sweden has the last 5 shots in the game. Shots now 16-15 in favor of Russia. A 2-1 game, 5 minutes into the second period. This is Russia's last preliminary round game. Sweden closes out tomorrow against the United States. Canada plays Finland tomorrow. And the Czechs play Austria. And the standings in Group B are a tangled mess.
Yeah, that's going to go right down to the end before it all gets sorted out.
Off the face-off, it dribbles right down. Kosmar got that down to Askarov. Yaroslav Askarov was the goaltender for the Russians in that 2019 IHF Under-18 tournament. The spring IHF tournament. That's the one that it's a hard one to gauge because the summer Holinka Gretzky tournament, Canada sends its best players, but some other nations don't. The IHF spring tournament, a lot of the top North American or top Canadian players are not available because of the junior playoffs. NBA and TSN continues Friday with a New Year's Day clash between the Heat and the Mavericks. Action gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. Look at the Alberta legislature here in Edmonton. Here's Muhammadullah with it. Long pass to the middle. This Safonov. Kosmar has it back. Spins away from Spiridonov, goes rink wide to Bjornfot. Tobias Bjornfot puts that wide of the goal. Off the sideboards, Kosmar with a chance. Askarov makes the stop. Safonov works ahead, he's poke check. And Kosmar digs it free again. Ahead of the play was Holmstrom waiting for a pass. They go rink wide to Broberg. In comes Broberg on Mohamed Ulin. Safonov. Look for Bashkirov. Spiridonov tracked down the puck. Broberg knocks it free for Emil Andre, Philadelphia second-round pick. Andre snaps a crisp pass ahead for Soderblom. That's knocked away. Poked ahead now by Afanasiev. Afanasiev goes hunting down his man Broberg. Heineman puts it high off the glass. Oh, look at Soderblom. And a huge collision there. And that actually shook up Kuznetsov. Drop pass by Gritsik to Abramov, works in, feeds it back across, and that pass misfired.
Abramov's got to be selfish. He's 7 feet from the net, and he's trying to feather one through the D. Made a slick little move in, and the Maple Leafs pick had he and the goalie, and that was it, and they end up with no shot.
So Sanov drops it back. Knyazev feeds it around, and that shot flicked wide by Ponomaryov. Ponomaryov now parked in front. At the line for Sanov, a long shot, that goes wide. Centering pass, knocked away. And Ponomaryov, he throws it back in front again, and Heineman knocks it up for the Swedes. Vikström racing to it. Gets there first, and Ponomaryov on the back check ties him up.
Ponomaryov comes all the way back to break up what could have been a 2-on-1.
Groshev falls in front of Johansson, and the smooth skating Albert Johansson brings it up. Look at him go. Ooh, long shot. Askarov makes the stop. There's all those bad skating Swedish defensemen, right?
Correct. Oh, what a nice play.
Bardakov moves it back in front of backhand shot. Great chance there for Groshev. Turned away point blank by Wallstedt. Groshev back with it. Drops it back, and a long shot. Taken there by Chika, his glove by Wallstedt. What a chance there for Groshev. It remains a 2-1 Russia lead.
Vasily Ponomaryov, when he's not back-checking with nice speed off the ice, guys, he's reading books. He brought a stack of 7 novels into the bubble with him, and they're not all in Russian. He's got some English books as well, a novel called Shantaram about some Australian bank robbers. He's reading Roadside Picnic by the Strugatsky brothers, famous Russian authors, and the books that he does have that are in Russian about the power of positive thinking.
Good chance there. Wallstedt knocks that away.
I've read Shantaram. It's a fantastic book. Really good book. So good you would even like it because you have such high standards.
Holtz closed that down. Zahar Bardakov was asked by a Russian journalist if he'd brought any books to the tournament. He said, yeah, The Idiot by Dostoevsky. Like, what's Igor doing with these kids?
To say some light reading they're bringing along, aren't they?
Igor's a big chess player too, so he's probably got the board out.
As long as Liverpool wins.
Oh, he is. Raymond, great move there in the corner. Oh, up Abramov and a penalty coming now.
I was wondering that I didn't see the down low official with his arm up, but Carter Sandlak from the offside, the best angle at it, makes the call.
It's a hooking call against the Russians, so with 11:33 to go in the period, Sweden gets a power play.
Second power play for the Swedes.
Russia number 3, 2 minutes, hooking.
Not much there. It's going to get missed as Knyazev rips him off his feet. So this is that second Swedish unit. Noel Gunler has 3 goals. There he is there. He's going to head over to this left circle. From a standstill position, he can really shoot it.
Sundsvik plays it back at the point. Berber can't hold it. And almost away short-handed. There was Bardakov, and Bardakov does pick it up. Walks in and shoots. Bad save by Wallstedt, and the rebound almost bounced right to Ponomario. Sundsvik drops it back. Gunler holds the line well. Robert feeds it back to Holmstrom. Kosmar, a quick shot. And the save is made by Askarov, with Sundsvik standing right in front.
This is the best Askarov's looked in the tournament as he made the stop. No rebound. Broberg's really had a tough night. The puck bounces on him, and Bardakov, who I think's had a really good tournament, a penalty killer, a bottom six guy, really strong. He tests Volstead here with a short-handed bid.
Draw, squirts back in front, but Colson poked that away. Kuznetsov had that knocked away by Soderstrom, and now Holtz feeds it back. Holtz, up by the Soderblom. You know where he's going now, right to the front of the net. And he posts up, Holtz with it. Drops it back. Soderstrom's pass, misfired for Raymond. Soderblom back with it. Long shot, Soderblom a chance, rebound, Holtz at the goal post. Bring it right off the post, and now Soderstrom with it. Holtz has that pass from Raymond go through his skates. Holtz swings it back across. Raymond, his pass for Holtz was knocked away. There's that pass you talked about, right? Holtz and Raymond trying to feed it across. Long shot there by Soderstrom, bounced off a leg. Holtz has it back. Raymond walks in, waits, shoots, bounces puck in front. Soderblom couldn't quite reach it. Final seconds now, the Swedish power play. Holtz takes that pass from Raymond. Soderstrom feeds across to Raymond. Back to Soderstrom, a shot that was blocked. But Colson got away. Holtz with a chance. 3 shots on goal for Sweden on power play.
But Colson felt that he's a little slow here after that block.
Exhausted, penalty killer's up. Soderblom feeds it across. His power play's been out there as well for the Swedes. Holtz works across the top along. Wrist shot, he was that high and wide.
Askarov using a player's stick as his goal stick is behind the net.
Now another penalty coming up.
That was inevitable.
Soderstrom shoots, it goes off a leg. Knyazhov tied up by Soderblom. He maintains possession. The centering pass goes back, and the shot taken by Gunler. The Russians can't touch the puck. Bjornfot. Back at the point. Broberg along the wrist shot that goes wide. Bjornfot. Broberg stick broke on that shot. Now Gunler back with it. Gunler shoots. Askarov makes the pad save, and finally the Russians touch up. Moments after Holtz brings it off the post, Sweden's going back to the power play.
All kinds of pressure on the power play. Soderblom's going to get to the front of the net. He keeps it alive with a swing around shot that Askarov makes a pad stop, and then Holtz hits the crossbar. There's the penalty, the trip by Knyazhov, who's now in the penalty box. The Swedes go back to the power play, and they start that second group again. I like this. The young coach Joel Rommark goes back to this group. You get a rest on those other guys, but this group's been good for them.
Broberg across to Gunler. Lines it across. Here's Broberg. Back to Gunler. Shoots. He fired that through. It's the first shot we've seen him take along the ice.
That pass through to Sundsvik. I don't know that Sundsvik was expecting it. It looked like he turned. The puck went right by him.
Here's Holmstrom back in the corner with it. Back to Broberg. Broberg to Holmstrom. That pass misfired for Gunler. Throws it back in the corner. Kosmar. Crisscrossing there with Sundsvik. And Gunler knocks it down. Walks in, shoots, and fired that wide as well. And it bounces down the ice. Broberg Slides that back to Raymond. In comes Lucas Raymond. Walks in and shoots. It's off the leg and wide. Here's Holtz back with it. Soderstrom feeds it back to Raymond. Drops it back to Soderstrom. Long shot through traffic and a shin pad. It's pounded down the ice by Vashkirov. Wallstead with a long lead pass there. Soderstrom to Soderblom. Trying to find Niederbach. He's tied up. Hardekar chopped at it.
That's great work by Soderblom. 1-on-2, and that puck stays in Swedish possession.
Sanov squeezes that past the Swedish blue line. Soderstrom puts it across and chopped right back down the ice by Kusanov. No shots for Sweden on that power play. Remains 2-1 Russia. 6.5 to go in the second period. Afanasyev to Abramov. He's tied up by Raymond along the wall. And now a race for it. Mohammedullin has to range back as Heineman was working on him, and Heineman gets a stick up. Brought back in by Ritsup. Mohammedullin goes back. Heineman watching him. And Chichikov just Gritsuk that goes down the ice, and a race for it. Icing waved off is racing in for the Russians. With Afanasyev in, shoots. Halstead makes the save. Rebound. Afanasyev shoots. And that was blocked by Hedstrom. Centering pass. Halstead missed on it. And Niebeck has it back for Berselius. Drops it off to Niebeck. Holmstrom got spun around. Swedes were changing. Their gunner touched up. The Russians thought that was too many men. Fed down the ice by Johansson. Soderstrom to Johansson. Winds and shoots. Askarov makes a stop through the traffic. What a period.
This has been a fantastic period for the Swedes. As the Russians dominated the first period, the Swedes have dominated and carried the pace of this second.
Holmstrom up for Kosmar. Chichikov goes back as both teams change. Inside 5 to go in the second period. Lead pass to Spiridonov. Spiridonov works in. Broberg angled him off the puck. Niederbach. Up ahead to Bjornfoot. Bjornfoot backhands that wide of the goal. And the Russians counterattack quickly. Spiridonov. Right wide pass missed. Soderblom goes back. Icing called against the Russians.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Niederbach's going to escape here. A little howdy-do through his own feet to continue to the puck and out of the zone. Really nifty play. Another Detroit draft pick, another second rounder for the Red Wings. We've got buckets of those picks here in the last couple of years.
We've got 5 prospects on the Swedish team. Now bouncing puck in from the hole. Oh, he's a post again. Now rebound, score!
He missed the easy one. The puck spun off his stick and bounced wide of the net. And as Askarov was headed back to the net, this puck hits his foot and goes back into the net, just a few inches over the goal line. Raymond's shot, or rather the point shot, is stopped. He's got the whole net, and he hits the side of the net, and then this one goes in.
So to be clear, he's had 2 open shots and hasn't scored, but his goal comes from there.
But now he's going to feel so much better, too. Like, look at that puck just spun on him. He hit the side of the goalpost, and as Askarov is scrambling back into position, the Swedes have tied the game at 2.
We've talked about the close games between these two over the years. Some of the best games we've seen at the World Junior. Amirov works in. And to feed it back in front, he ran over Wallstead. That's going to be a penalty against Amirov.
3 power plays this period for the Swedes.
Holmstrom drops it back. Wallstead's gone to the bench for the extra skater. It's Lucas Raymond who comes on. Johansson. Amirov finally touches up and he'll head off. 3:31 to go in the second period. Goalie interference is the call. Sweden back to the power play.
Here's Amirov, who scored in the first period, driving to the net. He gets a little bump from Johansson and then ends up running into Wallstedt. The Swedes, 3 power plays in this period. They're 0 for 3 in the game with 6 shots on goal.
Holtz. And the puck bounces off his stick. The Russian penalty kill is going to work out as Chichikov sends it down. And Soderstrom goes back. And as this goes on, Ray, as you talk about the penalties, the Russians who don't kill penalties sit on the bench. That plays offside of the Russian line.
Gord, we spent the whole first period talking about that energy that Podkolzin was playing with, and Amirov and Huznadinov, that top line for Igor Larionov, and there's Podkolzin standing in the middle of the bench. He does kill penalties, but you don't get on the ice. You don't get to move the puck. You don't get to continue the momentum that you'd built in that first period. As a result, the Russians have been back on their heels for much of this middle stanza.
Some Raymond both up there again. Both can really shoot it. Sonic booms from 2 sides of the ice. Raymond back to Soderstrom. Raymond comes that down to Soderblom, who plays a different kind of game. Raymond drops it back. Soderstrom along a wrist shot, rebound, loose in front. Soderblom battling for it, flips it back, and the line is held by Soderstrom. Here's Holtz with it. Holtz shoots, a Askarov save, and he pounces on the rebound.
This is the best 2 periods of hockey I've seen Yaroslav Askarov play in 2 World Junior tournaments. Everything hits him, sits on him. He's not scrambling all over the place. He's really played really calmly. There he goes to catch it and misses it, but is able to jump on top of it. He's looking around Soderblom, which is no easy task.
Hugo Alnefelt started the first 2 games for the Swedes. He's not dressed as the backup today.
Swedes, of course, play tomorrow, so they'll have to tough back-to-back.
Holmstrom drops it back to Broberg. To Holmstrom. Koshmar to Broberg. Gunler's all teed up for that one-timer. Broberg sends it across. Gunler in, shoots, and Askarov sneaks out the glove and makes the stop.
It's a pretty fair bet when the puck ends up on Gunler's stick, he's going to shoot it. Here is 3 goals from the tournament. Listen, because they're all the same. Posting in, crossbarring in, crossbarring in. 3 goals, 3 excellent deliveries to the net.
If he had a net in the basement, it must have been hanging from the ceiling.
The bottom of the net is boring, apparently.
Holmstrom shoots, that ramps off the stick of Bardakov, up and out of play. 31 seconds to go in this Swedish power play.
Gord, I felt at the end of the first period that the Swedes just needed to get to the break, to kind of take a deep breath, let the game settle a bit, and hopefully find their legs. And Joel Ronmark's team has come out and been excellent in this middle period. I think the Russians have to do the same. Just try and get this to the break here without any further damage in a 2-2 game.
This is going to be a penalty. I think if the Russians are talking it over here, the Russians are saying it deflected. The officials are conferring here. The puck did go out. Was it touched on the way out? Chichikov.
Well, nobody's deflected that. His stick hits Holmstrom's stick. I don't know if they've ruled that's that's a deflection or not. Looks like they have. Don't forget, we're sitting here looking at it on replay 3 or 4 times.
Right.
And they've got to, I mean, they can confer, but they've got to pick that up live. That would have been a tough one.
At least they didn't hit the camera on the way out. Of course, the famous incident in the gold medal game last year when the clearing attempt by Team Canada hit the camera on the glass. And the right call was made. That camera is part of the glass apparatus, so that was the correct call under the rules. Holmstrom sends that ahead. Takes the return pass. He falls. And the Russians clear it out. So this should be a 5-on-3 for the Swedes following. Gunler drops it back. One shot for Sweden on that power play. They have tied the game here in this period, but you get the feeling some opportunities missed for the Swedes.
The 3 power plays that get dust for you are going to hurt at some point. You're going to start to press on the power play, or the other guys get one and they capitalize, and you really feel like you've given it away here. Igor Larionov comes back with this top line. They got to be itching to get back at it. Amirov, Huznadinov, who is one of the fastest players in the tournament, and Podkolzin.
Handman with it. Works on Yazev. Now the centering pass is knocked away from Berselius. Enjoy the game like you did when you were kids, is Larionov's message to his team prior to the tournament. He wants creativity, puck possession. They almost never dump it in. Amirov drops that back. Huznadinov has to retreat. Huznadinov, the Minnesota second-round pick. Winds his way through center ice, flips it ahead to Amirov. Huznadinov, even a backhand shot goes wide. Holtz pokes at it. And Bjornfot goes back. Brings it around for Raymond. That missed. And as Mohamedulin goes back, icing called against Sweden.
That's an unforced error for Thomas Bjornfot. He's got plenty of time. He just turned and zung it around the boards. And a late icing call brings the face-off back into the Swedish end.
Face-off was won by Niederbach. That's a big face-off win. Broberg through the middle for Niederbach. That bounced away from him, but the play's offside at the Swedish line. Afanasyev plays with a little bite to his game.
No, I like him. He's got a goal today. He's an aggressive player. I like the speed he plays at. I certainly like that he's not timid at all. Like he's gonna get himself into the middle of the game.
Bramov spilled Kosmar there.
They've each got a warning now.
It's the most hotly contested neutral zone face-off we've seen in a while. Bjornfot gains center ice and fires it down. Niebeck on it.
Oh, it's a terrible penalty.
Bramov just dumped Kosmar on the slot.
Kosmar sucked him into that penalty the whole way down the ice. Remember, those two were battling after on that neutral zone face-off. And in the first period, Kosmar had grabbed on and not let go of Podkolzin. He does the same thing to Abramov, and Abramov gets frustrated and takes the bait. And this will be the 5th Swedish power play. So watch off the draw here. The two of them are going to battle away and scrum away, and eventually they're going to come out of here. But Kosmar is going to grab onto him. Look, he's got his stick, and he's holding on to it. He won't let him go. And he's just being an aggravate. So now he skates away, and Abramov is going to follow him up the ice. And this is a brutal penalty for him to take.
Now, the Swedes just saw the replay that the stick hit Kosmar on the head.
That's a frustrated Abramov. He's emotionally tied up in the moment, and he takes a bad penalty.
Holtz feeds that back. The face-off wasn't done fairly. It looks like we're headed for another close one between Russia and Sweden, right down to the wire. What a game so far. Holtz feeds it back for Raymond. Soderson a long shot. It bounces off the end board. The time winds down. And Sweden will have 1 minute and 53 seconds of power play time to carry over into the third period. The second period shots were 17-7 in favor of Sweden. 2-2 is our score heading for the third. You're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton. Our second admission with James Duthie and Bob McKenzie is coming up.
More than 80 years, Esso has supported Canadian hockey with programs like the Esso Medals of Achievement, Esso Fun Days, and the Esso Cup through our long-standing partnership with Canada's national teams. Esso, proud premier partner of Hockey Canada.
New Year's Day will be a day off at the World Juniors, but you have plenty of NBA action. It's a clash between the Heat and the Mavericks. Action gets underway noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on TSN. New Year's Eve 2006, Vancouver, British Columbia. Jack Johnson of Team USA in overtime beat Sweden, and we show you that because it was the last time Sweden lost in group play 14 years ago. 3 times, by the way, during the 54-game winning streak. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie back with you. Sweden has never led in the game, but somehow won. 2012, they beat Russia in OT. 2013, they beat the Swiss in a shootout. And last year, they beat Finland in OT. May that happen again. It will if the Russians keep taking penalties. And it was a brilliant but sneaky play by Kosmar to draw that last one.
Yeah, it really was. Vancouver Canuck fans are going to warm up to Kosmar, who irritated Podkolzin, the other Vancouver draft pick in the first period, and then gets the best of Abramov here. And they're mixing it up, as Ray pointed out, and they break clean, and that's it. It's over. It should be over. And in a period where the Russians have had now 4 consecutive penalties, including this one, this is a bad one. He uses the foot, and he kicks the legs out from underneath. I don't know if he's going to get a suspension for a slew foot, but it's not entirely out of the question. Earlier today, the IIHF, on a more flagrant slew foot, suspended a Czech defenseman for kicking the legs out from underneath an American player. So we'll see what happens on that. But the immediate problem for the Russians is that's 4 straight penalties, and they are losing all the momentum they built up by dominating much of the first period.
It's a captain obvious statement, but that's my job, that in close games at the World Juniors, they're often decided by goaltending. If they're not decided by special teams, what do you make of the goaltending matchup so far?
Well, here's the thing. The big trend lately is potential franchise goalies. And we saw Askarov go in the first round of the Nashville Predators. He's been really solid and had to be in that period in large part because of power play after power play after power play, and is going to need to be early in the third period as the Swedes start on the power play again. But this is the best he's played in this tournament, and he's been really dialed in and really sharp. And it's amazing to me that here we are a year later after Askarov, potential franchise goalie, to Nashville in the first round, that this year's goaltender, Jesper Wallstedt, is a guy that is going to potentially be the same thing, a top 15, maybe a top 10 pick in the National Hockey League entry draft. Wallstedt has been outstanding in the SHL this year, and he's been dialed in that period, and not as busy as Askarov, but still had some difficult saves to make in that period. Spencer Knight, Askarov, Wallstedt, the number of guys that are going between 10 and 15 as potential franchise goalies in the last several years is just off the charts.
17-7, the shots in favor of Sweden, based mostly on all those power plays. Alexander Holtz with the tying goal, and he's with our Ryan Rashad.
A very different second period for your team, Alex. What did you say in the locker room after the first 20 minutes of play that adjusted things so much?
We're good in the offensive zone. We need to go in with power, and they're not that good in the defensive zone. They are speedy guys, but I think we're more skilled, and yeah, we need to work harder. I think that we told ours in the first period. We'll
let you take a look at your goal. The guys were laughing, saying that you had a couple of open nets tonight, and then you managed to bank one in off the back of the netminder. What did you see here? You were trying to do this.
Yeah, I know. I got a rebound on my skate. It like whistled a little, and I just tried to shoot it, and then it went to the post, and then I was behind the goal, and yeah, just tried to shoot from there.
Lots of penalties by the Russians that period. Do you think you guys are doing something to create all of those power plays?
Yeah, I think we work harder. They can't like work with us, so they need to take slash and hooking penalties. They have some dirty plays out there, one spearing and one slew foot. I think it's bad that there haven't been a 5-minute call there. So yeah.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks.
Swedish players usually the best interviews at the tournament. They do not hold back with the criticism of other teams. Best 40 minutes of this hockey tournament so far. Can't wait for the third right after this.
Premier partner of Hockey Canada, Tim Hortons has supported minor hockey for over 35 years through the Timbits Hockey Program and its commitment to developing teamwork, confidence, and social skills in an inclusive environment. Timbits Hockey, where the first goal is having fun.
Earlier today, Switzerland, Germany. This was a wild game, and Senators fans, oh, you're about to get giddy. It's 1-0 Germany in the first. Tim Stützle. He's so good. 2-0 Germany. Terrific goal by Stützle, and he was just getting started. Two-man advantage for Germany. Stützle and J.J. Peterka. Great combination last year and this year. Peterka's second of the game. 3-0 Germany. Second period on the power play. Stützle. Drop pass from Peterka. Second of the night. 4-0 Germany. It's all over, right? Third period. Swiss have made it 5-3 under a minute to go. Simon Kanak. Rister beats Florian Bugel. It's a one-goal game. And they do get one more shot at it. Ray Fust right in front, but Bugel shuts the door. Germany hangs on, and great job by them. They finally have a full lineup singing the anthem because they are going to the quarterfinals. Finland, Slovakia, first period. Slovakia turns it over, and when that happens, the Finns usually make you pay. Tic-tac, Lundell finishes it off. Anton Lundell's having a great tournament. It's 1-0 Finland. Tapi Niemela also having a terrific tourney. Rissholm is second here. It's 2-0 for the Finns. Third period, Santeri Ataka leading the rush. Look at the angles, geometry, protractors. Terrific goal, 6-0 Finland is your final. They are 3-0 at this point in time. So here are your Group A standings. Canada and Finland, just as we suspected, will play for first place tomorrow. Germany in third, Slovakia, Switzerland is done. And so the final day of group play at the World Juniors will feature Czech Republic and Austria. The Czechs need a win or the game to go to overtime for them to lock up a quarterfinal spot. Canada, Finland, of course, and then Sweden and the U.S. will determine the final outcome of Group B. If you're trying to find out who Canada might play in the quarters, it's too complicated so far. But I will say this, if Sweden wins this game and Canada wins, there's a chance Canada could get Russia. But lots of scenarios still to be figured out.
Second period summary. Alexander Holtz was all over it that second period. 2 goal posts, and then he banked one in for his first goal of the tournament. The shots were 17-7 Sweden in that second period, thanks in large part to extended power play time. So it's 2-2 heading for the third period. The last 11 games between these two at the World Junior have been decided by 1 goal, 7 in overtime. Sweden dynamite there in the second.
It really started for me when Holtz and Raymond started to get going in that second period. They were really quiet in the first period. In the second period, their big shooters got moving, and all of a sudden the play starts happening down at the Russian end more and more frequently. All kinds of power play time, of course, helped that 17-7 shot advantage, but it really was a different Swedish team. They backed up the Russians. The Russians weren't able to skate like they did in that first period, and here we are again, the Swedes and the Russians playing a close one.
Their semifinal game last year went to overtime. The last 3 between these two at the World Junior have gone to OT. You know about Sweden's 54-game winning streak in the preliminary round. But the Russians have had the better of the Swedes in the medal round. Sweden is 0 for 4 on the power play with 7 shots. Abramov starts this period in the penalty box as Raymond works in. Lucas Raymond diving in. The puck squirted off his stick. Abramov Abramov got goaded to that penalty by Kosmar. Puck gets by Soderstrom and back down the ice. Russia wraps up the earlier round tonight. Will await its quarterfinal opponent. As Holtz fires it in. Sweden wraps up tomorrow night against the United States. Bounces back, Niederbach tapped that wide. Soderblom digging for it. And Bardakov, a good job on a penalty kill, sends it down. Wallstedt. Across to Soderstrom. Victor Soderstrom. Plays for AIK Stockholm in the Swedish Allsvenskan, or second league. Lucas Raymond. Drops it back to Soderstrom. Holtz snaps it back to Raymond. Back to Soderstrom, a hard shot. A Skarov save. Rebound loose in front. Niederbach reaching for it. And the puck bounces back to the corner. Raymond holds. 25 seconds to go in the power play. Raymond fans on it. Now trying to bank that back. The wall was sealed by Spiridonov. Behind the goal. Soderblom reaching for it. Sanov hit the official with that clearing attempt. It stays in. Niederbach to Raymond. Final second of the power play. Raymond in, shoots. Askarov got a piece of that. And Abramov steps on. 2 shots on goal for Sweden on that power play. It stays 2-2. Soderblom tied up by Stefanov. And Niederbach back to pick it up. 0 for 5 is Sweden on the power play with 9 shots on goal. Holmstrom lays it back at the point. A hard shot taken by Bjornfot. Stopped there by Askarov, and back come the Russians. Amirov with it. Again, this top line parked on the bench with all the penalty killing. Puck pulls it. Back across to Mohamedulin walking in. Feeds it back. Amirov with a shot. And the save made up high by Wallstedt.
We've spent a lot of time talking about the Swedish power play. 5 attempts, and Elmer Soderblom, the 6'7", 227-pound mammoth in front of the net. Askarov has to fight through him, and Soderblom's got good hands, so he can make a tight play into the net. That one hits Askarov. He gets a little lucky as it goes through him and bounces wide of the net.
Askarov was pulled last year in the semifinal game against the Swedes, which they ultimately won in overtime. It was a tough tournament for him. He was yanked a couple of times, including in his opener.
877 save percentage in his 5 games.
Abramov knocks down that clearing attempt. Abramov spins it back. Beachkov off the bench, shoots. That hit someone up high. Niebeck reaching for it. Abramov takes it away from him. Afanasiev trying to ring it around. On the other side is Abramov. Ritson. Afanasiev. Ritson. Afanasiev off the bench comes Ponomaryov. The centering pass was broken up there by Andre. Emil Andre back to center ice, and it's poked ahead by Berzelius. Earlier today, Germany beat Switzerland 5-4. They had a 4-0 lead in the game. It got a little tight at the end. But Germany advances to the quarterfinals for the first time in the country's history. What a story the Germans have written of this tournament. Overcoming all kinds of obstacles. And we welcome Russian fans this morning. Little dog down there. Like it.
Good stuff. Good game they've tuned into.
Off the face-off, Bardakov got tangled up there with Sundsvik. Sanov moves out ahead, chance back in front, and the pass there from Bardakov just missed as Droshev was reaching for it.
This line's been good again for the Russians. They're strong, they skate really well.
Here comes Holtz with a chance. Holtz drops it back. Sundsvik with a chance. And Sundsvik turned away by Askarov.
Let him up! Let him up!
Marcus Raymond. Drops it back to Broberg. Broberg feeds it back across to Hedstrom. That's broken up as Grosjean brings it out. Sunsvik with it. In across the line to Raymond. Walks in and fires. That just missed. Postmar plays it back down to Gunler. He drops it back. Broberg works in. Oh, what a move by Broberg. He's sent flying as the puck just trickled wide.
Well, and Broberg's on the limp a little bit here as he gets up slowly.
He's just back in the lineup, missed the game.
He's going to head straight to the Swedish bench.
That shot was hammered high and wide by Bjornfot.
Now he's got to turn around to play the puck. He was the last man back.
And he is limping. Now back at the point, a hard shot taken by Kostberg. Comes in off the bench. Mohamedullah. Winds it back across. Amirov works in. Right out Amirov with a shot. And Volstead makes the save.
In the first two periods, we talked a little bit about the struggles of Philip Broberg. Not a good night for him. Here he makes a slick move around Spiridonov. Now he's going to lose his balance a little bit. As he gets right to the goal, he'll go flying over top of the goaltender. And when he lands, it takes him quite some time to get up. And you see pretty gingerly heading back to the bench. He wants to go back, but right when he gets here, oh, great, I got to turn around. The puck's right there. And now he's got to play it into safety before he can head to the Swedish bench.
He's still there now. We mentioned he missed the game against Austria. Had 3 assists against the Czech Republic. A terrific opening game for him. Kuznetsov knocks it down. As Heineman tried to poke that by him. Niederbach. Across to Heineman. Heineman snaps the pass across. Andre a long shot. And Askarov loves that. Nearly a decade gone now since Sweden's last gold medal at the World Junior Championship 2012 in Calgary. That classic gold medal game against the Russians. I believe the shots after 2 periods were 46-6 in favor of Sweden, and we thought that if Sweden didn't win the gold medal that year, they might never. Prior to that was 1981 when the tournament was played in West Germany that Sweden had last won it.
Just there's so many times you think that this has got to be the team. And then they just couldn't push it across the goal line.
It's not like the NHL isn't filled with Swedish superstars either. I mean, they're everywhere. Knyazev lays it back down. Scooped up by Soderstrom. He got turned around by Abramov. Lifted back to Knyazev. That long shot was blocked in front by Soderstrom. And he moves it back to center ice. Knyazev got bumped on the way by Soderblom. Abramov winds in and had his pocket picked there by Niederbach. Soderblom works it and shoots. Shishikov blocked that. Broberg's back out there for Sweden. Flips it back down to the Russian zone. Shishikov. Grosjean winds his way through center ice. Jumps it across the line. He got poke checked there neatly on a good defensive play by Vikström. And swept back down to the Swedish zone by Grosjean. Bjornfot couldn't get that by him. And Jonathan Vikström, his first international tournament for Sweden, spins it back. Nybeck slides that back down. Nybeck pumping there with Panamario. He moved that to Grosjean. Raymond took that away from him. Great work by Raymond there.
A major difference for the Swedes here in the last period and a half is their work rate has gone way up. They're way hungrier on the puck. Slow in the first period, and they've taken the game over from Russia, which dominated completely early on.
But Colson flips up the center ice. Kuznetsov had that knocked away. As Andre got a stick on that. Now Bud Colson brings it back. In on Andre. Bud Colson sends it back in. And a penalty coming out of Holtz as he took down Amirov. Kursanov with it. Winds back in the corner. The extra skater comes on. It's Afanasyev. Kuznetsov with it. Back to Amirov. Brought in Amirov, a long shot. Wallstedt fights that off and punches it away. Amirov had it bounced by him. And so now with 11:29 to go in the third period, it'll be Russia's turn for a power play as Holtz goes off for the hook. Canada wraps up the preliminary round tomorrow against Finland. 5:30 Eastern Time, 2:30 Pacific. Our coverage starts. The Oilers are using, or the Canadians are using the Oilers dressing room here in Edmonton and are marveling at the National Hockey League dressing room, which is...
Yeah, it's a good time to have won the previous year. You get the best room by ranking, and
20,000 square feet is the Edmonton Oilers dressing room. You could go a whole season without seeing a teammate.
The rooms we started in were quite a bit smaller.
The Islander home dressing room?
Oh, I mean, it was a closet. But they won 4 Stanley Cups in it.
Mohamedulin.
This is the first Russian power play since the first period.
Chistyakov drops it back to Mohamedulin. Works his way in. Stefanov is parked in front. Chistyakov lays it back across. Abramov is centering. Stefanov goes through the legs. Wallstedt down. They jam away at it. And Wallstedt keeps the pad down. The Russians are arguing that the puck is in the net.
Really good puck movement by the Russians here, and you're going to see a terrific move from Stefanov. We saw Matt Boldy of the United States score on that move on the power play. Through his legs, quick reaction. Wallstedt has to hold it in front of him and then hold the post as the rebound is going to sit there. He doesn't quite get much on it, but it's a good save.
Who even thinks to do that?
Well, it's a far different game. I mean, the skill set of these young players to A, be creative enough to think it, and then B, be able to do it in the middle of the game.
Mohamedulin held the line there for the Russians. Abramov. Back to Mohamedulin. Long wrist shot, and Wallstedt makes the stop again through the traffic. Stefanov parked right in front.
And so here comes the Russians' big line. This power play just really hasn't gotten untracked in the tournament, but these are their best players here. Kuznetsov's a really impressive player. Rodion at it, Amirov, and Podkolzin up front. Podkolzin's really shown a knack for moving the puck around the front of the net.
Yazet. Kursanov walks in, feeds out to the goal mouth. Kuznetsov couldn't reach it. Set up. Leads it back to Groshev, now back at the point. Yazet. Back across, and a shot by Amirov, hit a leg and went wide. Amirov back with it. Yazet. Kursanov in, shoots, scores! Posted in! A power play goal. Russia's back on top.
Gord, we talked earlier about that stretch of power plays that the Swedes had and how it often comes back to bite you. Well, here's the second power play. Kuznetsov keeps the puck alive, and then he's going to skate directly in front of Wallstedt. Man, we've been talking about the 6'7" Elmer Soderblom. Well, this screen is by Kuznetsov. He's 5'9", 165 pounds. He goes by the goaltender right when the puck is delivered. Wallstedt doesn't pick it up, and the Russians have the lead 3-2 on the power play goal.
Kirill Kursanov is eligible for the upcoming draft. Plays for SK St. Petersburg in the KHL. Whoa, bouncing puck to the ball that I have to be careful with. And he'll hang on to that.
This play all starts down in the corner where Kuznetsov is going to keep the puck alive. Because he wins that puck battle, they can move it around for the shot. And Kursanov is able to beat the goaltender, and Russia scores their second power play goal of the tournament, and they have a 3-2 lead.
Perfect shot. Hansen moves that ahead. Holmstrom is trying to bust in there. Beachcoff took a hard bump. Now Abramov with Gritsu. Abramov shrugs off the check, works in, work wide. As he's fought off Goodwin. Pinballs around in front. Holmstrom with it is. Poke check by Abramov. Soderstrom. Again, the Swedes can't clear it out. And finally, Johansson does move it out. What a day we've got for you tomorrow. Starting with the Czechs and Austria at noon local time. Canada, Finland at 4. Sweden, USA at 7:30 local time. Holtz with it, and across the line, that play is offside. Kirill Khrushchevov has the power play goal to put Russia ahead by 1 here in the third. Time now, the Gatorade shift of the game.
Husnudinov wins this puck battle. He's not going to get a point here as the Russians move the puck around on the power play, but if he doesn't win that battle and then screen the goaltender, that doesn't go in the net. Russia's got the lead.
Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Do the Swedes have an answer? Their winning streak on the line, 54 consecutive games in the preliminary round.
And just think how things can turn in the tournament. They go so quickly. 2 wins by the Swedes. If they can't come back and they end up losing this game, now they got the U.S. rested tomorrow. You could end up 2-2 out of this thing in a matter of 36 hours. Happens fast.
And we've seen it so many times in this format, Ray. You drop a game and you wind up with a much tougher quarterfinal. Holtz drops it back. Here's Raymond with it. Now a jam play the side of the goal. Busting in there was Bjornfot. He's turned away. Now moved by Niederbach and back down. Look at Podomarov close on him.
He's had an impressive tournament there. Carolina second rounder from this last draft.
That skips down to Askarov. Hangs on to that. So Sweden's last loss was on New Year's Eve 2006 in Leksand. 5,113 days ago. That, by the way, was a great arena in Leksand. It was made entirely of wood.
No, is that the one?
Yeah. It looked like they went to IKEA and bought an arena package. So halfway through construction, they had to start over because they built it backwards. There was a great rink. But that was their last loss. Jack Johnson scored the overtime winner for Team USA. And since then, they've run the table in the preliminary round.
Amazing.
Players are 3 and 4 years old. Quick chance at the side of the goal. And Askarov makes the stop there on Kosmar, who's been right in the middle of everything again.
Swedes are going to have to press here. They get Kosmar, he's been really effective tonight. Kosmar has drawn a penalty. He's got a goal in the first period. He's been in the middle of a lot of stuff here. He has a chance on goal there to try and tie the game, excuse me, tie the game, but smothered up by Askarov.
Gritsu. Up ahead to Abramov who feeds it down. Ballstead swings it back across. Goodler takes that long feed from Johansson. It bounced away from him. Now it's banged back down to the Swedish zone. Ballstead back. Slides it across. Johansson. Johansson, Detroit's second rounder. Detroit has 9 prospects here. Could have had more.
One of the defensemen that wasn't able to play with a positive COVID test was Vollinder.
Yeah.
Another Detroit defenseman.
Alvin Gruve, another Detroit prospect, wasn't able to play. Husnudinov. Got it taken away there by Heineman. Back goes Philip Broberg forward. Plays for Skellefteå in this Swedish Hockey League. The world-famous ice hotel is not far from there. Soderblom comes lumbering in. 2 Russians all over him. Bardakov plays it back out. Soderblom to Heinemann. That long shot just wide. Soderblom back on it. He and Kuznetsov collide. That's another big body collision. Soderblom was knocked off his feet. And the puck bounces to Grosjev. Lead pass for Bashkirov. Got away from him, and brought in by Bjornfot. Bjornfot a centering pass. And that was batted away by Abramov. Grosjev slides it back. Chistyakov. Chipped in by Abramov. And Andre goes back for it. Emil Andre. Up for Holtz to Raymond. Kniazev knocked that away. And Sundsvik plays it back. Long time between whistles here in the third period. Lifted down by Hedstrom. Kniazev. Can't clear it up. Andre with it. Emil Andre plays it back in the corner. Kniazev waiting for it. And moves ahead. Gets Sundsvik all over him, and Sundsvik forced it free, but Kniazev slides it back out. Soderstrom with it. Johansson banks it back to Soderstrom. That pass broken up and centerized by Amirov, and across the line comes Gunler, but the play is offside. It's tense when they play. Another close one between Russia and Sweden here in the third period at the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. We talked about the standings in Group B. Sweden right now tied with the United States and Russia with 6 points. Czechs play the Austrians tomorrow, so the possibility of a 3-way tie exists. If it happens, we'll explain the tie-breaking procedure.
When will you do that?
Only if it happens.
Okay, good.
I'm not getting into that.
It's a nightmare when we're at the World Championship, and too many teams are involved in too much of it. There was one time I tried to explain it on air, and I thought that will probably be the last time that ever happened.
I'm going to be generous and say you didn't really stick the landing.
No, there was a wobble there. There was 7 of the 8 judges gave me a deduction.
4:55 to go here in the third. Does Sweden have a pushback? Holtz, Sundsvik, Raymond out there. Holtz took the draw.
Now this would be a place where, you know, you'd think about some of the missing players for the Swedes, and their #1 centerman is not here.
Now Ponomarev picks it up. What a move, walks right back in. The puck rolled off his stick. Ponomarev back to Afanasyev, who slides it back. Mohamedulin. Back across to Chistyakov. And Hustadinov chips it back down to the Swedish zone. Knocked down by Amirov, a shot. Volstead save, rebound! And puck Colson turned away in tight. Broberg, his pass picked off by Puck Colson. Puts it back in deep. Bjornfot plays it around. Raymond, this top line for Sweden, got hindered with defensive zone here on this ship. After starting in the offensive zone.
And now they got a change here, so really good work by the top line for the Russians in a simple forecheck shift. Anytime a decision made with the puck, back behind the net as they melt the clock down.
Niederbach, nifty move, gets around Kirsanov, centers it, that's knocked down by Abramov. Mikhail Abramov, knocked down from behind. And the lead pass goes to Heinemann, who fires it back out of the Russian zone. Kirsanov goes back for it. Abramov angles there with Soderstrom, and Johansson back to pick it up. Soderstrom up ahead for Kosmar. That's moved out by Beachcom. And Johansson to Soderstrom. Lead pass to Albert Johansson. He's moved off the puck. Kuznetsov has it back. Inside 3 to go in the third period. That pass for Grosjev missed. And so an icing call against the Russians brings the face-off back down to their zone, and they can't change.
In the commercial break, you see Ponomarev head over to the bench, and Igor Larionov has some instructions for him. One of the keys of any coach is to make sure your players understand what you want them to do. The next shift, I don't know if that was the instruction, but that is a heck of a move as he goes around Soderstrom and gets back to the front of the net. You can be the best coach in the world. If the players don't understand what your message is, then you got to find a new way to deliver it.
Larionov had long conversations with his former Detroit boss, Scotty Bowman, prior to the tournament. One of the pieces of advice Scotty Bowman gave to him was, put your best players in a position to succeed. However you have to. Kosmar works in, holds and shoots off the goalpost. Kosmar looks skyward as he rang it off the pipe.
A turnover gives the Swedes the opportunity that they're looking for to tie this game up. Russia's 10 feet from the blue line, and they burp up this turnover. That gives Kosmar this opportunity right from the dot, and he's going to go up top, and he goes right over top of Askarov, who makes himself pretty small here. Look how tiny he is. He's 6'4". He made himself 4'6". Like, stand up a little bit. Don't let your upper body get so low into the net. And Kosmar recognizes that, goes right up over his shoulders and hits the crossbar.
Keep an eye on Volstead now in the crease. That guy almost broken up there by Bashkirov. Holtz, top line back out, Niederbach. In with Raymond, tries to drop it back to Holtz. And here comes Volstead to the Swedish bench. The extra skater comes out, it's Soderblom, but the puck goes back out to center ice.
2 minutes left in the third period.
Swedes don't have enough players on the ice.
Yeah. They only have 5 skaters and the goalie out. Sundsvik jumps on. Now they got the 6 skaters out there.
A little lack of communication on the bench. Remember, this is an entirely new coaching staff. First time they've pulled the goalie, too.
Centering pass, Soderblom couldn't quite reach it as Raymond threw that in front. Russians send it down. Icing call, the face-off right back down to the Russian end.
There is 30-year-old Joel Runmark, who has been Thomas Monton's assistant the last 2 World Junior Championships. Here's that turnover. Really nice play by Broberg to keep this alive. And watch how tiny Askarov gets. He gets down and Kosmar rings it off the bar, and a goal earlier, and the competitive Kosmar shows his frustration. I've liked his game tonight. He's been terrific for the Swedes. So now you get down to this point where the face-offs are critical. The little battles become more critical. You're just looking for one chance. See if you can find one way to get this game tied up.
So you go over the win, the loss, where you have to be in all the situations.
Swedes looking for one more shot, one chance.
1:32 to go here in the third. It'll be Niederbach for the face-off against Husnudinov. And the Swedes control it. Holtz. Long wrist shot. That deflected just wide. Raymond steps up. Lucas Raymond. Around for Soderblom. Holtz sends it back. Raymond couldn't reach it. Back at the point is Soderstrom. Takes the pass from Holtz. Raymond tries to bank that down. Goodler. Back to Holtz. Lots of shooting options for the Swedes. Goodler. Holtz. Raymond directing traffic. Soderstrom. Walks in, feeds across. Holtz and Lund scores! The Swedes have tied it with 1 minute to go in the third period. Goodler got a stick on it. And he's got his 4th of the World Junior.
That puck doesn't leave the zone with the extra man. On the ice, the Swedes keep the puck alive, and they're able to slowly control it. Now get it to the place it wants to be. You've got Soderblom in front of the net, but Goodler joins. There's 2 in front of the net. I'm not sure if it's Goodler and Soderblom. Okay. That's Goodler's goal off his shin pad. I can't tell you how similar that is to my first NHL goal. A Ray Neufeld slap shot hit me right about there in the shin pad and went in. It's a thing of beauty, Gord.
They won't complain, will they, in Sweden?
What a comeback here. 3-3 in an excellent hockey game with 1 minute left.
And the Russians victimized by the icing. So here we go. Inside a minute to go. We mentioned the last 3 between these two have gone to overtime. Afanasiev banks it wide of the goal. Britsuk with a chance. He whistled that high and wide. Back on the center ice it goes. Yazev plays it back into the Swedish zone. And Broberg feeds it across to Bjornfot. Heineman chips it down. And Yazev goes back. And banked up by Broshev. Russia beat Sweden in overtime last year in the semifinal game in Ostrava, the Czech Republic, to advance to the gold medal game. And in their 54-game winning streak, the Swedes have gone to overtime 7 times. Make it 8 as Russia and Sweden go to OT, and there's more bad blood between the benches here. And more hockey yet to be played. 3-3 the score, OT, and perhaps a shootout looming here in Edmonton.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
So it's on to overtime we go. 5-minute overtime period in the preliminary round. 3-on-3, then if necessary, a shootout. And we're going to OT because of this.
6-on-5, the puck doesn't leave the zone after the Swedes control it off the face-off. They call the timeout, and Holtz's shot is headed towards the corner till it hits Gunler in the shin pad. So Holtz has a goal and an assist tonight. His goal's from behind the goal line. His assist is a rocket going about 8 feet wide. And they both count. And what has been a terrific hockey game is going to head into overtime.
Kuznetsov, Podkolzin, and Chichikov out there for the Russians. Raymond, along with Holtz and Soderstrom. Man, Raymond and Holtz have been playing together internationally for Sweden. Feels like forever.
Well, I will say it looks like both coaches want this thing to be over fast.
Okay, we need to both be set here.
You've got the offensive players of both teams on the ice, and the defensemen that will both jump up into the play.
Chichikov swings back. Now remember, this complicates the standings even further because an overtime win or shootout win is only worth 2 points as opposed to 3 for a regulation win. In comes Podkolzin. Swings back to center ice. Russians are changing. Mohamedulin jumps on. Kuznetsov with a head of steam. Works it and shoots, and Wallstead gets a piece of that.
One of the fastest skaters of that 2020 draft class. Kuznetsov really opened it up there.
He heads off. Podkolzin flips it back. Bardakov back for Mohamedulin. Gunler, who tied the game late in the third period, is out there. And here comes Abramov. Mikhail Abramov. He streaks in. Abramov in, shoots. It's off the stick of Broberg, up and out of play.
One of your objectives here in overtime is if you get a rush is to isolate the forward The defenseman's on the other side of the ice. Broberg actually comes back to help out, but Huznadinov beats the forward up the ice and gets a good chance on goal. And again, the Russians, that time Abramov has all kinds of room because the forward's on that side. Kosper can't catch him, but the defenseman has to come over and help out.
Johansson back to Gunler. In comes Gunler, a bouncing puck goes back to Kosmar, walks right in, and the puck bounced away from him. Bashkirov collides with Kosmar. Bashkirov pokes it ahead. Here comes Amirov. He's got Knyazev jumping in for the treader. Bashkirov walks in, shoots. He hammered that high and wide. Kosmar spins back, and the Swedes will change.
Well, Bashkirov has all kinds of time. He had the spot to pick, and he just missed it. Dead center.
Soderstrom deals back, 3 to go in the overtime period. That pass was almost picked off by Panamario. Soderblom flips it up to Sanov, pulls it back, in a backhand shot, Askarov to save, the rebound poked wide by Soderblom. What a move by Soderblom there. Now walks up to the slot. Soderblom still with it. Soderblom picks his way through the traffic, shields off the defender. Soderblom holds, falls, no chance for the Russians. Panamario had a man streaking away. Kusanov couldn't find him. Heineman drops it back. Soderblom in, shoots, his stick blew up on him. Askarov kicks the puck away. Swedes are changing. Heineman's the only man on the ice for them, waiting for help to arrive. Now it's stolen by Holtz off the bench. In comes Holtz. A broken stick gets in the way. Back he goes, Broberg. On Panamario. Broberg to Raymond. Lucas Raymond in, holds. Raymond's doing it. Crisscrossing with Broberg. Raymond lost the puck for a moment. Kursanov stays with him, been out there a while. Raymond drops it off to Holtz. Back to Raymond. Lucas Raymond walks it and shoots. He fired it wide.
And the Russians are on their heels now. They're tired. They want to change.
They're going, and here comes Holtz across the line. Holtz
two of them off.
Drops it back to Broberg. To Holtz. 90 seconds to go in overtime. Holtz moves in and slides down to the corner. Gritsuk knocks him down. The Swedes are tired now. Brought in now by Krishnikov. Feeds in for Huznadinov. Huznadinov drops it off to Podkolzin. Podkolzin dances around Raymond. Podkolzin drops it back. Huznadinov drops it off for Chichikov. 5 minutes of overtime. Chichikov works in, shoots. Volstead holds the post and kicks it away. Podkolzin back to center ice. Huznadinov. Swedes are changing.
Broberg's either tired or he's not quite right here. He's getting beat a little bit too easily. He's just like he doesn't have his regular agility. Very noticeable.
Peeling back is Abramov. 30 seconds to go in overtime. Here he comes. Abramov steaming in. Mikhail Abramov works in. He rolled it wide. A penalty coming. And is going to be a penalty shot? No, it's a holding call against Sweden. 24.9 seconds left, and Russia's getting a power play in overtime.
Gorda talked about this. The objective is to try and find the forward and attack that side of the forward, and Abramov does it. Kosper's just now, he's got to chase him, and he's just not going to catch him. It's almost like they're in a forward skating race, and that's one that Abramov's going to win most of the time. Doesn't really get a shot away as Kosper commits the foul. So we'll have a power play here for the last 30 seconds of the overtime.
That'll be 4-on-3.
There's been some terrific chances here in this overtime. Both teams with an opportunity to win. Here's Elmer Soderblom with a terrific move in front, stopped once, and the backhand rebound is knocked away by Kursanov. And then here's Amirov. Watch the defense work, who denies the pass going back. That was Gunler. So he denies the pass go back to Amirov. and then the puck is shot over the top of the net by Bashkirov.
Kuznetsov wins the draw back to Chichikov. To Amirov. Feeds it back across. Kuznetsov with a chance and a great stop there by Volstead.
Gord, I checked in with a couple of scouts today when Volstead was playing. Both of them independently said the same thing. One thing he does really well, aside from having economy of movement, is he reads the play. Look, he's deep in the net, so he can go low, post to post, and he smothers that one-time shot, a dangerous shot that would have ended the game. They both said the same thing. It's really remarkable for a goaltender who is rated this highly.
Chichikov feeds it across. Walking in, a quick chance for Amirov. Rebound, score! Kuznetsov puts home the rebound. And the Russians win it in overtime. The streak for Sweden is over.
What a fantastic hockey game this was. A late power play. The Russians came into this game with 1 power play goal and 7 chances. They get a couple of power play goals tonight. And Kuznetsov, who centers that top line with Amirov and Podkolzin, ends this game with 5.6 seconds left in overtime.
Russia scores 3 times on the power play to hand Sweden its first loss in the preliminary round in 15 years.
The Russians track this puck down, and Kuznetsov all by himself in front of the net. Takes the rebound, goes to his backhand, and beats the goaltender, Volstead, through the legs. Volstead doesn't handle this one. And this is a beautiful goal by Kuznetsov, his second of the tournament. And Russia wins 4-3.
So the Russians finish the preliminary round at 3-1. Sweden goes to 2-0-1 and plays the United States tomorrow. Time now for the player of the game presentations and then the Russian national anthem.
The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Each winner will be awarded with a custom wallet from local maker Close General Leather Company. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team Sweden est le numéro 25, number 25, Elmer Soderblom. The best player of Team Russia est le numéro 27, number 27, Rodion Amirov. Et maintenant, pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team Russia.
Wow, what a game. And that ends the streak. 54 games. Since Jack Johnson beat them in overtime in Leksand, the Swedes not losing until tonight in the last few seconds of overtime. But what a hockey game between the two teams. And this makes Group B a little more complicated. Russia moves into first place, but because it was an overtime win, they only get the 2 points for it. That means that tomorrow night, Sweden and the U.S. play the last game in the group. If one of those two teams wins in regulation, they will finish first in Group B. Goes to overtime, we have some more complications, and Russia probably wins the group. We'll figure it all out tomorrow. Czech Republic against Austria. If that game goes to overtime, the Czechs will wrap up 4th place in the group. And that would mean that the Canada-Finland winner would play the Czechs in the quarterfinals. But Sweden and the U.S. will finish things off, and that will settle up all the matchups for the quarters. By far the best game of this hockey tournament so far. We had a bunch of blowouts early, but all these great matchups to wind up group play. And the Russians finally end that 54-game winning streak. Maybe that's a good thing for Sweden. This will be the year they win gold medal after all of that. Thanks for watching on TSN.